Okay, so we're gonna be going over the top 10 hills that will die on. Francesca is here. Thank you, Francesca. Glad to have you here.
Hi, sorry, I don't want to keep waving. Great to be here. I'm trying to think of this because this is a tough one. This is a tough one because it's not about like politically. There's a lot of hills I think we would die on, right? That's sort of easy.
I think so. For me, the way I've thought of it, and it was difficult, not in that I don't have a lot of hills that I would die on, is I wanted to make sure that I had a balanced list that represented different areas. These are more things where you feel strongly about this. You might have tried to persuade people in the past. You might have talked about it in shows, but like maybe you know that you hold the minority position, but you don't care. You're just gonna hold it. Like, die on the hill of like we should have single payer healthcare. I don't think is really like a weird hill to die on.
Right.
Mine are maybe weird hills to die on. Okay.
Okay, weird hills to die on. I like it, and I will be thinking of them as I go.
You know what I love about you is your preparation. No, you didn't sleep last night.
I know,
man. So why don't we start it off with your number 5?
Number 5, hill I will die on always. When something is north of where you are, you're not going down there. You're going up there. So when I say, or my husband says, I'm going down to San Francisco, I am plotting his death because it is up to San Francisco from Los Angeles. It is up to, I mean, I guess you have upstate New York, but you're going up to Connecticut or over, up to Maine.
Are you going
down to Florida?
Right? Are you going right to Vegas?
Down to Tijuana, over to Vegas,
left
up
to the beach,
up to Seattle. It's up and down, saying. North, south. Let's do this.
You know that the maps are arbitrary, right?
There is a north and a south.
There is a north and south.
But the planet is truly, it doesn't matter. Like actually, we're just thinking of the planet like that, but it really could just be like that. So
it doesn't bother me. I get what you're saying, and there is. It's so weird that it does feel very natural to think of going north as going up, and it's just maps. I wonder for us, a map is like a physical thing growing up. Now maps are such a thing that you can manipulate and spin. I wonder if that effect will be less strong in future generations.
No, I love maps. I think globes and maps are so unique. I mean, just having Google Maps does not cut it. It's cool, but it's not the same thing as like taking in our world. So
yeah,
it'll always be, I mean, I guess when we become sort of like the fat, couch bound people from WALL-E.
Yeah. Okay, well that's gonna be your hill. I'm not gonna die on that hill. I kind of agree, but I would be fine if people disagreed.
No.
Okay, my number 5 is going to be my first and only entry that has anything to do with sports. But I will say, volleyball should be one of the most watched professional sports. And it's weird to me that it's not. And I know that like, who am I to decide? I don't even really watch sports, which is not as true as it used to be. I go to soccer matches and stuff like that. I watch wrestling. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you want sports that are exciting, volleyball is very exciting. Spiking is cooler than any individual thing that happens in baseball, aside from maybe a home run, which is super rare. I just think you have the team thing, you have interesting positions, they run cool plays, and it's really athletic people jumping and hitting things hard and saving things.
And the players are hot.
And the players can be hot. I mean, women's volleyball players are amongst the most attractive people on the planet. It is bizarre to me that outside of the context of Olympics, it is not more popular. And that to me, that tells me that the way that sports have ended up, like that we watch baseball and football, is just, it's basically Total Request Live. It's just, we like the thing that we're told to like. People weren't really deciding that order, they were being paid or whatever to do the order, and then people would like it because it's on TV. I feel like it's that way with sports because volleyball deserves way more cred than it gets.
Well, also I think it's, I don't know, but it is also an equally, if not more so popular women's sport, which is a clue as to why it's not.
Do you think that undercuts it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, meaning in our sort of capitalist male-driven sports society, it's like, oh yeah, no one's really gonna put that on television, even though they can't wear longer shorts without getting penalized, or like full shirts without getting penalized. Remember that during the Olympics last time? Yeah. That was a fun little ridiculous thing. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that, and also now I'm just thinking about people's bodies, but diving should be really, really popular, because then we could look at divers' bodies.
You can just look at divers' bodies in your.
No, you can't. You have to. If you go to a diving board area, a pool, you have to have a diver with you. It's like a playground. You have to have a child with you to get in. I have to have a diver with me if I want to go ogle the other divers.
Because she's the weird woman that's always there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4, again, kind of fine, but this one came to me, and this is very true. As an Italian, as a half Italian, I will say this: 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10, you can make better Italian food at home. Going out for Italian food is one of the biggest wastes there is. Most places do Italian food horribly. You can cook my nonna's recipe for penne pasta, my dad's recipe for lasagna, which is ultimately my nonna's recipe, for the pasta fagioli, which is so good, for the minestrone, which is so good. And it will knock your socks off. But going to your average, like, oh yeah, red sauce. No, your red sauce sucks. Your red sauce sucks.
That's interesting. So I worked at an Italian restaurant as a waiter, and I really liked their food. I think I've never really thought about that explicitly. And you could definitely rank like cuisines by gap between what you could do on your own and what they could do at a restaurant, and it's not the same for every cuisine. I think it's nuanced. I think that for main courses with pasta, unless you're going to a fancy place where they're making their own pasta, which most of those places they're not, I agree with you that you could make the pasta just as well as at home, but I don't think that you could make the focaccia bread as nice. I don't think you can make fried calamari that's as tasty. I think some of the stuff that isn't the focus would be harder to duplicate. But I agree with you about the pasta.
Right, ordering a pasta, which I mean, look, I've never turned down pasta. Really, truly don't know if I've ever turned down pasta in my life, which is hard because when you go to the Italian restaurant, you want to get pasta, even though that's the one that you could probably make as good. And I also worked at an Italian restaurant, and I believe this is another thing. This is maybe related, but I think there's actually only 1 or 2 good things on any menu. Any menu. Only 1 or 2 good things, and I'm sure you knew which one of those things, or which 2 of those things were at the restaurant you were at.
No, there was a really nice vodka sausage spinach penne dish. It was really good. Penne Angelo, it was called. That was really good. Anyway, okay, I like that. I appreciate that. My number 4 is actually a food related one too, and it's something that I have evolved on a little bit, but I'm still on the hill. I'm less at the top of the hill than I used to be, but I'm still on it. And it is that when it comes to food, you all overcomplicate everything. Everybody needs to put sauces and condiments and chutneys and everything on everything. Food ideally should be and generally is good the way it is. Like a hot dog needs ketchup, that's it. And it doesn't even need it. A hot dog should be good without anything. If you have to put ketchup and relish and onions and like all this stuff, what are you doing? Like get a plate first of all at that point, because the bun is not gonna bear up under it. But I just think that like so much food doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Simple foods, a Pop-Tart, that's it. No butter, no nothing is good. You should be able to
Iadarola,
simple things.
John.
What?
You know the labor? Do you know the flavor labor that was put into every one of your precious Pop-Tarts? Okay, do you know all the work that was done, all the little like condiments and the side things and the chemicals that they developed in a lab so that you could be like, the Pop-Tart is perfect as it is. Why can't all food be like Pop-Tart?
Nature's perfect food.
Yeah, it grows on a tree. Why are you messing with it? Like a hot dog needs at least 3 or 4 things on it.
I just think Like for me, I don't need to put a lot of stuff. Now, I've been doing Blue Apron for a few years, and so that has made me appreciate some of this a bit more because like last night I made mushroom ramen, and there's soy sauce and Worcester sauce or whatever, and there's a few things, whatever it's called. So I appreciate it more now, but I do think that a lot of people think that you need to put mayo and ranch and ketchup on literally every dish, and I don't think it's necessary. That's all.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I am married to a sauce monger, so he is. Our whole fridge is just sauce, and it's so sad. Anyway,
what's your number?
That's very unpopular. I want you to know how unpopular that is, John. That things have too much flavor and/or sauce, and we should all just eat.
I don't like flavor.
Dry crust. Okay. Like that's like a pizza crust.
I know.
Number 3, celebrate your birthday. Celebrate your birthday. This is what I have to say. Don't be the stick in the mud. I hate my birthday. It's not my birthday. Don't remind me it's my birthday. My birthday. Celebrate, even if it's a small way, your birthday. Don't be afraid of aging, even though we all are deathly afraid of it. It draws more attention to yourself to be anti-birthday than it is to just be pro-birthday and be like, it's my birthday, it's okay. I'm someone who wants to be told happy birthday. I want to hear it from everybody, and I will remember if you forgot. I will know if you did not text me. I will remind you of that. So yeah, I just think that you should lean into your birthday.
Okay, I like that. I'm probably more towards the stick in the mud that you're saying. I don't mind doing something for the birthday. I don't like though. I like the idea of like a get together. Like if people wanted to get together and play board games for my birthday and have a cake, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But like when like you force it to become a public thing, that's when I start to get a little bit more uncomfortable. Like forcing service workers to acknowledge it. That starts to make me uncomfortable.
Like at a restaurant? No, man.
Like I remember like on a plane, Brett and Amber were like making a big deal out of it to like the flight attendant or something. I don't even remember why, but I was like, no, I just don't want other people to be drawn into this. I don't want to force them to feign enthusiasm for me. It's like, I don't know, it's like casual faked orgasms or something. It's like, I don't want to see it. Anyway, that's a weird metaphor.
You went there.
You know what I mean?
Casual fake orgasms. You know, like
I was a waiter.
Is it like where you're walking around, you're like, like just like chilling? Oh, it was a casual fake orgasm.
It's like having to pretend to feel something you don't. I don't want to watch it.
Watching someone pretend to get happy for you.
Yeah,
doesn't turn you on.
But real friends that are actually happy, I like that.
Yeah.
My number 3 is the first of 2 that longtime viewers could probably predict would be on this list. They're both pop culture related, and I will just reiterate them for the public record. Number 3, it is that Last Jedi gets a totally unfair bum rap. I know you don't care about or you're kind of.
I do. We did it top 10 Star Wars.
Yeah, you did. There is a fandom that was always going to hate, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but there's a subset that don't like it because of Rey or whatever. They think that she's a Mary Sue. The fact that she goes and does the training here doesn't convince them, but whatever. They don't like, like Rose Tico or whatever. I get, like I understand it. I'm not saying that everything about the movie is amazing, although I like Rey and I like Rose. I get that the casino thing is not great. I get that. But if you like Star Wars, then there is just too much stuff in here that you should really like to not like it. There's great lightsaber stuff, great vehicles, beautiful vistas, awesome cinematography, cool use of force powers, heroic moments and self-sacrifice and twist. Like, I don't understand, honestly, that you don't have to like every minute of it. The original movies have stuff that's boring, but there's just great moments. That like final throne room scene with Rey and what's his face fighting the red armored guys. That is awesome if you like lightsaber fights. How could you not love that?
Oh, you mean in the snow? Is this the one where she fights him in the snow? What armored guy?
No, that's at the end of the first one. So, so they go to Snoke, captures her. They're in Snoke's throne room.
Yes.
Then Snoke gets killed, and then they have to break out of there. And you're not sure if they're gonna work together or not. That was an amazing thing. Mark Hamill's final confrontation with Kylo Ren on the Salt Planet is awesome. You don't have to like everything about it, but it was thoroughly Star Wars, and it took chances and made actual like creative decisions.
Who are you talking to? The weirdos who are like, no, actually the prequels were better and George Lucas directing was better?
A lot of people think that it's not Star Wars because it made too many changes, and then that caused the studio to overreact and make the last movie, which just nullified everything from the second one, and that clearly wasn't a good decision. Anyway, I have a lot of thoughts about this. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a
great movie. I mean, we can all overlook the like, oh yeah, she's what's his face's son. Yeah, like that was dumb. We all know that was dumb.
Like that. Yeah, but that I think was only done in part because of the overreaction of Last Jedi.
That's so stupid.
Anyway,
Last Jedi was a second. I'm sorry, what was it? I don't know.
It was The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay, it was the second one. All three of them were good.
Yeah, I need to watch the third one again. I've only seen it once, but anyway. Oh, and also, by the way, let me just quickly say, and I apologize to the TD and to Mike and everybody. I apologize. The first 15 minutes of The Last Jedi is one of the, I think, most emotionally packed short sci-fi films ever. When they're doing the attack on the Dreadnought and the bombers are coming in and Rose Tico's sister's on that thing, that is beautiful. Yes, the tonal stuff with the comedy is a little bit weird, but it is beautiful. I hate people. Anyway, that's my hill. That should have been my number one. I'm changing it. That's my number one. Anyway, what's your next?
God, I have so many. I think I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but here's one that the hill that I very much, or the seat that I very much will die on, which is, ladies, sit down on the toilet. Just sit down. Sit down. That's right. Sit your butt down. Sit. And look, it's not because by the time I hit like 35, I was like, I am tired. I must sit. Squatting is a young girl's game. So at some point you just have to sit, but also peeing into the toilet and not on the toilet is a very wise person's game. And that's what happens when you sit down on the toilet. Stop hovering, stop proving that, oh yeah, you can squat. No, because you pee all over the seat, you don't clean it up, we know it. And there are toilet seat covers designed for you to put it on top and sit down, sit down. That's all I have to say.
So this is to avoid contamination in public toilets or something?
Yes, exactly. People don't sit because it's like, oh, I don't want to, obviously. And yeah, I get that, but that's why there's toilet seat covers. So you put that on and then you just enjoy a little like sitting. Don't pop a squat, sit down.
And this is this is talked about enough that that this is a thing that many women have.
Oh yeah. Are you squatter, you sitter, and sometimes, look, let's be real. Sometimes, first of all, I used to squat. And is your aim good? No. Sometimes I still squat if I'm in a hurry. But no, I've become a sitter and I believe in sitting on the toilet seat.
If I skip leg day and I want to get a nice pump going on.
Exactly.
In the hamstrings.
Exactly.
Sure, I understand. Okay, wait. So my number two then is, guys, sit down on the toilet. No, I'm kidding.
No, that should be one.
Yeah, it should be. My new number three, because I think I am pushing Last Jedi. My new number three is this, and this is a weird one, and it'll probably be very unpopular. All opening of presents should be done in private.
Ooh.
I love Christmas. It's the best. I love buying presents for people in general, particularly on Christmas. I love big displays of presents on Christmas, and I love the coming together and giving of gifts. But I also think that in general, you should hand the gifts over. You should go to different places, open them up, collect yourself, and then come together and talk about the experience. Because there's a lot of pressure when you receive a gift to react in the correct way. And why spoil a nice moment by putting that sort of pressure on people? Is this weird? Am I a weird person?
squirrel away into like a weird closet or something.
Go into different rooms, open up your presents, and then come out and be like, thank you, that's awesome for this reason that I just came up with right now.
That's very weird. There's nothing weirder than that. In fact, it's very introverted. You just have to pretend. You just have to do a better job of pretending.
I think I'm good at it. This is not for me. This is for the world. This is my gift to the world.
No, you want to see the joy you want to see the joy or you want to see people's faces. And some things, especially cards. Have you ever regretted opening something in private? Sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'll open it later. And then I see it and I'm like, I want to give back so much love and gratitude in that moment, So waiting and, I don't know if your present opening pod idea is really gonna work.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think most people would be down for it, but I think some people aren't great at it. That covering. And by the way, I also, so I love giving gifts, and also I don't think that I'm particularly picky when it comes to gifts. So again, this really is not about saving me. I've been in that situation, and I just think it could be improved. But anyway, this is my hill. I'm not forcing people to come onto my hill. What's your number one?
It's very difficult. I'm frowning because I don't know, because there's so many things I could say. But here we go. I've got some runners up. Makeup is good, actually. Living abroad is good, actually. Please, everyone must say thank you when someone holds the door for you. Hold the door for others. Basic chivalry. But I think my number one is unpopular opinion. Even though I love it, the beach is overrated.
Like in general?
Just in general, the beach is overrated, all right? First of all, especially out here in LA, mostly the beach has a bunch of sewage in it because there's like toxic spills every once in a while and sewage spills. There's also like tar on the beaches are dirtier now. And you drive to the beach, you get through all the traffic, you load everything up, you load your cooler, you load all your snacks and food, but you didn't really make a full sandwich, you just have snacks and you're like, I don't know, we just have snacks all day. And you get to the beach and what happens? You immediately have to pee. I immediately have to pee when I get to the beach because it's like 40 minutes of a drive. You get to the beach.
Maybe it's from hearing the ocean water.
You hear the ocean water, you gotta pee, it doesn't matter. Well, what happens? Well, the water's too cold to really go in it at this point. You gotta warm up, but you also gotta pee. So two options, you gotta go in the water to pee, of course. So you gotta do that weird little bob where you like sort of descend into the water and pretend like, oh yay, this is really nice, I'm splashing up. Why am I only going up to my waist? Well, that's mostly just to pee. Then why am I, then you gotta pretend like you're actually in the water to enjoy it. Like, oh, I'm not peeing, I'm splashing, I'm enjoying. And then you get out and you go by. Or you gotta walk a mile to the disgusting sandy bathrooms with those metal toilet seats that do not have any covers. And yes, I will be squatting on them. And oh my God, I thought we lived in the richest country on earth. Why can't we have better bathroom toilets at the beach, public restrooms at the beach? This is a whole thing.
Man, two of your things are pee related out of 5.
Look, it's about more than just pee. I have a lot of thoughts on bathroom stuff.
Yeah, I think that the beach is one of those things where it's never as good as you want it to be, but for anything like that experience, you have to go to the beach. Like other stuff just doesn't measure up. It's inconvenient and all that.
But it's super inconvenient.
It's very inconvenient.
You just gotta lower your standards.
Yeah, you have to bring a lot of extra stuff, and the sand is way too hot, and I've almost drowned a couple times. It's very common, and now there are bears on some of them in California. That's a new thing in Malibu and at Huntington Beach. They found bears. So, and I tell the bears, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it because as soon as you come down from the mountain and go to the beach, you're gonna have to pee. So
exactly,
anyway,
you brought your cooler and everything.
Okay, well that leaves my number 2 now, which is my other pop culture one.
What was number 1? Is your Star Wars?
I think so, because I feel more strongly about that than I do about this.
Okay.
But number 2 is people are being unfair, and I would dare say kind of irrational when it comes to evaluating the final season of Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
Everybody needs to simmer down now. on the final season. And again, I'm not saying that it's perfect. And I'm not even saying that some of the arguments about sort of nullifying character growth and rushing things are accurate. I think that for Jaime Lannister, I think that that's accurate. I think that they made a bad choice when it came to that story. If you have an issue with the final ruler, I don't like the way that they ended that either.
Brenda Broken.
You didn't see it coming because he's such an.
I want to
Who
swear.
has a better story than him? Look around, man. Most people.
Pick anyone. Literally pick anyone.
You have a better story. Anyway.
Pick Hodor. All right.
Well, he's dead at that point. So my big issue is obviously with the way people respond to the storyline with Daenerys. And this is very much the hill that I'm dying on, because I know that it's too late. There's no persuading people on this. It's just done. The way people think about that is wrong, and it will never be right. I'm not saying she should have gone in the direction she did, and I'm not saying that you couldn't tweak it. But the fact that she did is not inherently unacceptable. And to say that it was never set up or anything is just wrong. You may not like it. You may think they should have done more to set it up, but they set it up season after season after season.
No, they didn't. They're totally.
Yes, they did.
No, they did not. They did not. You're wrong. First of all, no. Even if John, even if they set it up, which I mind you, I will concede there were multiple moments and lessons, but she was taking away from that something different and new. Now, the problem, I think she had. Here's the difference. If she had the lessons, or something happens where she like kills, I forgot all the specifics, I can't maybe be specific, but all I remember is that she had these multiple lessons and put in front of her, and she did the wrong thing, or supposedly did sort of the crass and mean thing, and could have done like the more benevolent, the more like thing that was worthy of a queen. And she didn't do that, but she always sort of came away as being a more enriched person. Like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, yeah, no, you're right, and thank you. And like she was growing through her mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's one thing though to get that wrong. It's okay, give him the heel turn, that's fine. But to get that wrong, plus then who kills her, plus then what happens to who kills her, plus then all of the other things that went wrong, and you're like, no, screw this series forever.
Wait, if you take as a given that she's gonna do the heel turn, and by the way, I love that you're using wrestling terminology. What's the problem with Jon Snow being the one? What's the problem with that?
Terrible. He's gonna be the one to kill her. I think that's really, really bad. And
love, it's tragic and beautiful, I think.
They were in love for like an episode.
A season.
No. They were in love for like an effing episode. Talk about being rushed. Look, and they're his real love. We all know where she is. She passed away, but she's north of the wall. You know nothing of love, Jon Snow. That's his real wife in real life. And that was the only thing. The other day I was thinking about him because they're doing they're doing a sequel called Snow.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I would go back and watch. The only thing I would go back and watch is when Jon is north of the wall and he falls in love with Ygritte. And I just love that whole storyline.
We're not gonna do a whole big thing. Maybe someday we'll do an episode of my other podcast on this. But I will just say, I agree that she was learning lessons throughout all of this over in Marine.
Yeah.
That the argument I would make is what she never learned was stop burning your enemies. Every time things got difficult, she set people on fire. She did it with the initial slavers. She did it in Marine. She did it against the Lannisters. She did it against the traitors. She did other noble stuff. But she constantly was using dragon fire for for retribution. Anyway, I accept I've lost. People do not agree with me.
I know, but to have your hero for so many seasons. Look, if it were a 3-season show, totally. But have your hero after 7 seasons do that is like, well.
But she's not a hero.
Now
she's a character. That's the problem, is believing that she's a hero.
That doesn't matter. He's saying same thing.
No,
she's a character with a life of her own. No, this bitch exists to please me and me alone.
Can she have agency?
No, she does not have agency. The writer's job is to please me.
I expect to be serviced because I'm a fan. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Anyway, you can take or leave my argument. You can squat over my argument if you want, whatever. But anyway, that's the hill that I will die on. You can do whatever. But anyway, what are the hills that you would die on? Everyone out, post it down below. Maybe we'll return to this at some point and cover different topics. But thank you for joining us, for making this extra content possible. Francesca and I will see you in the next one.